All right, moving on to our next Patreon request, and this one comes from Lamont Benson, who asked me to do a very fascinating topic. Basically, he wants me to defend Steve Trevor, which I don't really think needs defending, but whatever. As always, if you guys would like to have Patreon requests done, just hit the link in the description box below. Head on over to my Patreon, hit the third tier. That'll allow you access to do so, as well as check out movie reviews, and other stuff I've done on Patreon. I recently have done my review of Sinners, so if you want to get my thoughts on that, just hit the link in the description box below. Head on over there. I will also be doing episode reviews of Andor, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, anyway, so let's get started. So defending Steve Trevor, like I said, I don't really think the guy needs much defending because he's pretty awesome. Like, that's kind of what it is that he's just kind of an awesome character to begin with. But I can understand why people don't like him. Like, I can understand there's some kind of reasoning behind the thought of not liking Steve as a character. I don't think he's bad. I've never thought he was bad. And I can see why people think he's boring or unnecessary, but yeah, let me talk about why I think Steve Trevor is pretty awesome. Like, as a character, why I think he's a pretty fun character. So let's get into it. So, for starters, I know there are people out there who like Diana and Clark together as a couple, as like the ultimate power couple, and I just think that's boring. Like, I've never liked the idea of Wonder Woman and Superman together. It made more sense for them to have mortal lovers so they can better appreciate humanity. Steve is the same reason why Lois is Clark's, absolute love, for a multitude of reasons. You can apply those same reasons as to why Lois is important as a character and apply those to Steve Trevor, where Steve can easily, Steve allows Diana to see a perspective of humanity that she can't see as a Amazon. It's the same reason why Lois gives Clark a look at humanity that he can't see fully, because he's Kryptonian. No matter how hard he tries, he is still not human. You have to remember that. Like, it's still important for him to like remind himself that, hey, I'm not human. Lois gives me that perspective. Diana needs that too from Steve. And Steve also gives her that another perspective that she also desperately. It's not just humanity that she gets perspective from Steve. It's also a view of men, because you have to remember, like, she comes from a world where women are the dominant gender, and it allows her, being with Steve allows her to see, a closer look at man's world. And yes, she's made the right assumption that a lot of men are pretty shitty. But also, there's a lot of good men out there too, and Steve is one of them. So I think that's kind of important to remember when it comes to the character of Steve Trevor, is that he gives Diana that level of, understanding, and also like a reason, and also like reminding her that like not every man is waiting to destroy them, though a good amount are. Let's be real. So anyway, that's something I think a lot of people need to remind themselves. And also, another thing that you have to take into account when it comes to Steve Trevor is that Steve is kind of a badass. He's not a super soldier. He is a soldier, but he's not a super soldier. He doesn't have superpowers. He doesn't have like the brilliant mind of Batman. But you know what he does have? Grit, and also the ability to like hold his own in the face of adversity. You also have to remember that currently in the comics, as of this recording, Steve Trevor died. Steve Trevor was killed by Wonder Woman's new adversary, the Sovereign. He was killed, and through his hair and also his blood, it helped allow Diana to create Trinity, their daughter. So that's the other thing, is that looking in the face of death, he never once wavered in Diana's face. Like, he never wavered he never wavered once in his love for Diana, even though like he is a soldier and he still protected the country. But this isn't the first time where he's been like, I'm a soldier and my country does come first, but you know what else comes first? That woman. Yeah. So I'll defy any orders. Like, it isn't just like, even though yes, the Sovereign killed him. The other thing is too is that this is the first time Steve Trevor has gone against the grain and held his own and held his head high against, government oversight. He's done that with Checkmate. He's done that with Argus. He has gone right to Waller's face, said point blank to her, "Go fuck yourself." Like, no, and there was no Wonder Woman there. There was no Batman or Superman. He just said straight up to Steve Trevor's face, Amanda Waller's face, the big bitch that she is. He just said, "Fuck you. I am never doing anything for you." Like, I'm rolling with Diana. Y'all can go fuck yourselves. Peace. So, yeah. I think that's a lot of people forget that Steve Trevor has balls, and I say has because you never know. Maybe he'll be brought back, maybe he'll be resurrected, but maybe he won't. Who knows? Like I said, it's kind of funny to do this video because currently in the comics, like I said, Steve's dead. Like, Steve Trevor is no longer here among the living, so it's a little awkward to do a video like this when it's like I'm defending a character that's kind of dead, but at the same time, like at the same time, you can still defend him because that plays in the whole rule of he loved Diana that much to die for her. So if that's not love, I don't know what the fuck is. Among other things, the other thing that kind of set him apart from, the other two members of the Trinity's love interest, Lois, as well as whoever the hell Batman Stuppen, he was on the, Lois had, she was capable of handling herself. Steve was out there on the front lines with a gun and more than willing to, shoot someone. Lois could never bring herself to kill for Superman, no matter what, because that's not what Clark would want. You can't say the same about Selena or Talia, but yeah, Steve, he's not only willing to die for Diana, he is willing to kill for her. Like, if you threatened Diana, if you threatened her and he could get if he had a gun on him, he'd shoot you. Like, there have been times where he's put bullets in Diana's enemies, and they all took him. It was the same reason why no one took, some people don't really think highly of Lois Lane, and then then Lois gets the drop on. But Steve, if you don't take him seriously, he's gonna put a bullet in your face. So, you got that going for you as well. So yeah, there's really not much else I can say about this character that hasn't already been said already. I think Steve Trevor's a great character. Maybe he'll come back, maybe he won't, who knows. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think of Steve Trevor? Like him, hate him? Comment below, let me know. Once again, I'd like to thank Lamont Benson for this Patreon request, as well as continued patronage. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.